this outrage machine it serves such a purpose, and I'm talking about both sides. Like, fucking Trump, fucking Biden. There is this thing that, like, it serves something in us that is probably not healthy.
Definitely not healthy.
Right? And it's certainly not constructive. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel as though, with comedians, we are so used to being around, but we're so used to being around people of different points of view and different sensibilities that we grow to love, that it's not completely foreign to, like, I remember at 4th of July, I had a friend that was, like, at Occupy Wall Street, and then I had a friend who works at Fox News, and they were there, and they've known each other for 30 years, and it was nothing. It was not an issue. It was interesting. I mean, I was asking them questions. I'm like, all right, so what's going on here?
Yeah.
And but there is something. Maybe it's because comedians are misfits. Because I say that also, and I sometimes think, like, sometimes people in the entertainment industry are like, my business is so weird. When the reality is, in a bank, in a construction site, there's people of dramatically different opinions too, and they got to go along to get along, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, people like being in opposition of other people, and they like thinking that those people on that other side are keeping them from living the dream, or keeping, this country from being great, or keeping, people from prospering and keeping democracy alive. And if we don't defeat them, we're fucked. And they like having this, like, wild cause. And there's some validity to it. I mean, there's a lot of real challenging issues in this country, like real dangerous, scary issues. And there's a lot of financial interests that are tied up in these dangerous, scary issues. And they will avoid solutions because they're profiting off of the problem itself.
Wow.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot of the homeless problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues in this country that you could pick one side or another and just decide those people are the problem. It's insanely complicated. It's insanely interwoven and complex. And, to reduce it down to the right versus the left, and we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. It's like, that's such a stupid perspective, and you're being played. You're being played by the media. You're being played by politicians. It's like manufactured outrage, recreational outrage, and it's just a giant distraction. It's constantly going on. And then there's UFOs.
Yeah, why is it that the UFO thing comes up every couple months where people are like, "There's UFOs," and then like a half hour later, people are like, "Did you see the new Colts uniform?" We're so easily distracted by really unimportant things from, like, stuff that is the theme of every sci-fi movie, right? We're so, like the aliens thing in the pandemic. They're like, well, here's the aliens info, and people are like, that's unbelievable. Did you see what Trump said to that female reporter? You know what I mean? Like, we are so easily distracted.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it's a conspiracy necessarily. I think it's just that human beings are just like goldfish. I think we forget.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right.
We definitely are, but then there's also people that take advantage of that. And I think there's definitely calculated news releases and leaks that they put out to distract us from other complicated things that are also going on simultaneously. The fascinating thing about the UFO thing is because if this had happened in, like, the 1980s, it would be front page of every newspaper. Everyone would be talking about it at work. Everyone would be talking about it on the street. Like, oh, my God. They had congressional hearings where they said, we've recovered multiple crashed vehicles from other planets. We have alien biological entities that are in freezers that they have right now. The government has been doing this for 80 years and keeping it secret. There's a crash retrieval program. There's a back engineering program. This is all in the congressional hearings yesterday. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever.
But Elon Musk changed it to an X.
Why is it an X?
Well,
he's a Nazi.
Well, here's what I don't understand. like, because you talk to him, you're probably friendly with him, but like, he reminds me of a comedian. He reminds me of like the comedian that because there's the comedians where they'll be like, hey, do us a favor, whatever you do, don't bring up that person with the blue shirt. And the comedian's like, I'm bringing up that person with the blue shirt.
Right.
He is that, like the X thing, and I haven't done a deep dive. I know people are upset about it, but I'm sitting there, and I know that people are like, but my takeaway is like, oh, he's just doing that for fun, right?
Yeah.
That's just him like, all right, the Russians did a Z on their trucks. What could I do on Twitter that would freak people out? And that's kind of, or is it a distraction?
What he's doing?
Or is, like, here, like, let me, all right, here's my conspiracy. My conspiracy is Twitter Threads is, it's still in development, but like Twitter is really struggling, right? Let's say it's struggling.
Financially, yeah.
How do you distract from that? How do you make you introduce a new conversation piece? So like if you're gonna be likely, which comedians, point of view, wouldn't you sit there and go, maybe, what is the reason for the X?
Well, he has an affinity.
Except for us talking about
He
it.
loves the letter X.
Okay.
SpaceX, his kid's name X. I think the original company that he developed with PayPal was X. Like he's got an affinity for that letter, for whatever reason. He's a super nerd. He likes like he made the shape of the rocket different because he likes the movie Spaceballs.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's why he called.
No, he put a Tesla in a satellite. There's that, but then there's also the knowledge. I mean, I have a 17-year-old son who I know says things to push buttons.
Oh yeah.
And so he's a little bit like, I'm going to do this, and it's going to make some people upset. Right?
Yeah.
It's in a way, it's part of the outrage machine.
Sure.
Right? He's like, I got to feed the outrage machine.
Well, it's a fun thing for a kid too to fuck with you. Say something to your dad.
Feel some power.
Yeah.
Right?
Just put a little push. Hey, Dad, you ever think that maybe you're wrong? Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You ever think that maybe the other side is on the right path and you're the enemy of history?
Yes. And, I've got 5 kids with 5 different opinions, and it's just...
It's crazy how different their opinions are, isn't it?
There is...
Out of the box, same house.